This may look like an idyllic mountain landscape to some, but just try raising livestock in such a remote, isolated location. Especially when it's milking time and the power goes off.
It happened occasionally that it broke down. You have to invent stuff to keep going. When you have 80 animals, you're trying to find a solution. In the meantime, you're preparing for milking by hand, but you are going to call your friends and colleagues to help you.
Nestled at the border with Provence and the Alps, this French valley is home to a Dutch dairy farmer, his French wife, and the herd of around 100 Communes de Provence, Alpines and Roves goats. They moved here in 2008, looking for a plot of land and to live a more environmentally conscious way of life.
There was only this little cottage. It wasn't even a cottage, but you couldn't not live in it. But it was the spot which we owned already. The platform was more or less present, so it was the most easy place to go, considering we had no water from the main and no electricity. There was a little sheep stable with not more, and so we built the actual barn and all what's around.
The herd of goats produces around 60 litres of milk daily, which is used to make cheeses and yoghurts. On average, Gerard and his wife Audrey can get 2 small cheeses per litre of goat's milk. Each litre of milk requires 4 litres of water, so every on-site resource comes hard fought for and at a premium. Arranging for water supply to the farm alone cost close to €15,000. Initially, the couple was using a noisy 8 kilowatt diesel generator for all on-site electricity, which was at odds with their idyllic, peaceful new home, and after being quoted €100,000 to install and connect the farm to the grid, this was not within their budget. Gerard recalled one company he had used in the past to help with his energy needs.
I did already know Victron because in another life I had a naval shipyard and we subcontracted all the electricity and installation, and my subcontractors used already Victron equipment. It was always without problems, and for me it was instantly okay.
Gerard brought in local installer Stefan for advice and to see how feasible a solar off-grid system could be at this altitude and in this location.
The first step, obviously, was to carry out a consumption study and find out precisely how much energy we use. Measuring or asking questions is easy enough in housing, but this was a special case. Energy use is mainly during milking, and there is virtually no need for it during the rest of the day, except for using the surplus or excess to make hot water. Measuring was the problem. On the generator, we don't have a meter, so I made a box with a Serbo GX with a small 12-volt battery to power it and an EM24 meter from Victron. Everything was recorded, and I was able to get precise consumption data for several days, both in terms of power and energy. Lithium was not an option for temperature reasons, because our system is installed in a small, unheated, uninsulated outdoor technical room. We're at altitude in the low mountain ranges, so in winter, the cold doesn't allow us to recharge the lithium batteries.
A big factor at play that Stefan had to consider was the unique microclimate and ecosystem here. With only 2 hours of sun on average in winter, due to the angle of the winter sun behind the mountain's peaks, and high temperatures in summer, the farm uses around 10 kilowatt hours a day.
Cooling is handled by 2 fans. They weren't there initially, but it turned out not to be enough cooling. We added 2, and may add 2 more if necessary. There were two possibilities: to use a thermostatic sensor directly in the cabinet to control the fans, but I thought it would be more interesting to synchronize the fan to the internal multi-plus fans. We easily accomplished this using the available assistants and relays on the devices.
The work was undertaken with financial help from the French government Renewable Energy Scheme and was completed in October 2022. The overall system cost €40,000, but with a 40% subsidy, Gerard paid €24,000. So how exactly is the system set up? Well, the farm uses a three-phase system and is housed in a dedicated cabinet within a dedicated outbuilding. There are three 48-volt multi-plus 3 kVA inverter chargers, an MPPT RS450-100 solar charge controller, Victron Energy bus bars, links power in, Servo GX and screen, and the system uses VRM via a GX LTE 4G and external aerial. There are 16 12-volt, 190 amp-hour thin plate pure lead power-safe batteries. There are 28 375-watt solar panels mounted facing south and at the ideal angle for this location. As a backup and to help during winter, there is an 8 kilowatt generator within the main farm building. So how is the setup performing in this challenging landscape?
In my opinion, it's the best value for money. It's reliable and customer support is good. Customer support is fast. As a dealer or installer, we're lucky enough to have a close relationship with Victron. It's very easy to get in touch with them directly to discuss and improve their products. We feel like we're being listened to by the equipment designers. This creates an excellent working environment.
In November we had quite a long period of grey weather, which means that we milk 2 days on solar or on battery, and one day we run the generator and it will reload the batteries, and it's not really a problem.
Gerard plans to extend cheese production at the farm and install 100 more solar panels to store energy using a 3,000-litre water boiler instead of batteries. He hopes these improvements to his Victron Energy system will keep him and his goats self-sufficient in this valley for many years to come. Another business using Victron Energy and solar for their business is this Amish Run workshop located in Indiana, US. Click on the link to see how they use power from the sun to keep their business running.